So this Linus Tech, they had a sponsored video with NiceHash, which is the basically noob entryway to crypto mining on your PC. All right. And he did a sponsored video with it, just showing people how when they're not using their gaming PC, they could be using it to mine cryptocurrency. And they're showing like how much money you can make. And I did the profitability calculator, like my system right here, which is the same one as yours. In theory, it could make like $16-17 a day profitable just sitting there mining.
So does that count for the electricity as well?
It will count for electricity, yes.
Wow.
So the real question is, I was gonna make this a talking point. If you were given a computer, or let's just say, would you do that? Like in general, like would you ever consider doing that?
I mean, I don't. So like my thing is like, I just don't really like crypto and like what it is at the moment. So like me personally, no, I would not do it. Just more of like moral reasons. You know what I mean? Because like I can't talk shit about crypto and then be mining it on the side. Yeah. And also to me, that's just not enough money to be worth like stressing my system and making it to where, you know, who knows, I might need a new graphics card after all said and done. And how much do you think a new 2080 Super would be right now?
That's the biggest thing is if you're mining and you think like, yeah, you might get some money here and there. Is it really worth the stress on your system if you're gonna like lose a graphics card and then have to, you know, go get a new one here and there?
And so I'm guessing with this, like what he's talking about, you don't have to mod the BIOS or anything.
So NiceHash actually has a quick optimize tool. It's for 2000 series and 3000 series NVIDIA GPUs, and what it will do is it automatically tunes like the power limits and everything. It has some built-in stuff in there to make it more efficient, lower the power draw and things like that. It'll just automatically do it for you. So you don't have to do any modded BIOSes or anything. It's just mainly a setting that's, you know, already in the application. So,
so that's definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's because Linus made the video on it, and of course everyone was not super happy about it because, you know, there's only so much to be expected. Let me look at the video. I know it had a pretty not a great like to dislike ratio.
It's one of those things where like, I mean, Linus just like us, you guys has to go for the clickbait, like something that right now is very relevant and causing issues. So I mean, it probably is going to get a lot of views because of that.
Yeah, so his title was Mine Crypto Before It's Too Late, and the like to dislike ratio was 49,000 likes, 17,000 dislikes.
Ooh, dude, so that's like almost half.
Yeah, it's almost half.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, so, you know, it's a no-brainer. What would you do, chat? I'm just curious. Like, I feel there are some people who would do it, and I wouldn't blame you. It's just one of those things
I think there's a lot of people
who do it.
Who will do it. I just think it's just a bad idea. Like, if you know, feel like you, like if you use your system on a daily basis and it's your only system. Now, if you have you know, like how you used to always have like an extra computer?
Yes.
Like your girlfriend's now, right? You just use hers.
Oh, I would just use hers. Yeah, it's true.
But like, it's just one of those things where like, unless you have an extra, I just feel like it's just such a high risk factor.
Yeah, and they yeah, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't do it. I'd always talk about how, like, I don't use my computer much anymore, but I still wouldn't even do it because it's one of those things where, like, I don't want to just risk the fact that, like, my one computer, especially right now when we're having to work from home and, like, do all this stuff. Like, if I knew my office computer was good, whatever go, I'd be like, you know what, let's just try it for a couple days and see what happens. But I don't know. I'd be more on the lines of just trying to protect my stuff.
Yeah, and that would really suck, like, if you needed a new one. Like, you know, like, let's say you did it and you decided, you know, like, your system died, like, or your graphics card died. What would you even get right now, do you think?
I don't know. So it depends. Like, when you're mining crypto, like, that profitability just goes all over the place. Like, you're probably getting, because it depends on what the value is of it. So you mine it now, and then if the value keeps going up, you're basically just holding something that's going to keep increasing in value.
Right.
So
you're kind of, it's like an investment.
Yeah. So it's an investment in a sense, but yeah, I know there's people in chat saying what makes it high risk. There is, like, yes, in theory, if you're running these programs, it's not going to kill your stuff because we've bought numerous like RX 580s and stuff after the first mining craze that were perfectly fine. They were a little bit rough around the edges, but it should still be fine. But it's still the idea that silicon does degrade over time with heat. No matter what you do, that GPU is going to degrade. And if you're running it 24/7, it's just going to degrade that much faster. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing too is it's not just the silicon. I mean, there's resistors, capacitors. There's things that, I mean, capacitors charge and discharge a lot. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where, like, I feel like you can't expect to be able to run your system at like 100% like that and just have nothing happen.
Yeah. So That's not true, Matt. I think Seagrams did a video on it. Well, no, I'm just talking about, like, yeah, silicon in general can degrade, and it does happen. But yeah, I know Linus Tech Tips, even this video mentioned that the risk is small, but there is still a risk, especially if you invest in like a gaming rig. And right now, if something does happen to your GPU, you couldn't go out and buy one at a good price. So,
and then the other thing too that you guys got to understand is, like, now that there's a video on this, and I'm sure there's multiple videos, I can almost guarantee that it'll go up and then down. Look at all the freaking... There's a reason GameStop blew up the way it did. It's because of social media, like, you know, YouTube, Reddit, you name it. Once someone comes out with something like this, everybody fanboys over it. Literally everybody ever is like, oh my God, they're so right. This guy's a genius. I'm going to get big and rich now. You got to think now that... How many people have seen that video? The line is like 1 million plus or something?
876,000 now.
Okay, so close to 1 million. All those people are probably like, oh, okay, I bet I'm going to do this. Do you really think that, you know, if millions of people just suddenly start doing it, that the value is just going to keep going up and never dip, you know? It's one of those things where you just got to kind of understand that, like, inflation happens, you know what I mean? The more it's going on, the less valuable you are. You become less of an asset.
You're not a valuable asset anymore.
Yes.
He's not. But no, to be fair, like, I'll go counter argument here. That's how crypto works, is the more miners, the more valuable it is most of the time. So
yeah, it's one of those things though where you become less valuable though mining it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like, I'm talking like just going down to the base of the issue. Like, let's talk about like even the most essential thing there is, which is like trade, right?
Yeah.
Let's say I am the only guy who I'm the only guy with an axe in town. Okay, so I'm the only guy who can cut down trees and get wood. Well, next thing you know, I mean, I'm an asset. Everybody needs me. Next thing you know, I released a video about, hey guys, here's how you can build an axe. Now there's 1,000 people in town that can chop down trees and get wood. You're not as valuable anymore because now you no longer have a monopoly. You have spread your knowledge, your wealth across 999 other people. So I don't really, and I don't know enough about crypto to say exactly like what that means. I just know that going down to the bare essentials of things, the more people who would mine, the less valuable you become as a miner.
Okay, well, yeah, kind of, sort of. I'll go with that. But no, like, I get your argument, but it's just with crypto, it's a different technology. I don't think it's as like base level as like that. And I know your analogy is just like an analogy in general, but when it comes to like mining crypto, the whole thing is getting as many people involved as possible. So it's just how the profitability can work. But I get it. Like, there's a lot of stuff about it I don't understand either to fully argue on it. So, crypto's not our 100% forte.
I guess to me, like with crypto, it'd be like, okay, so you saying like we need to get as many people involved as possible to make it worth more. I feel like that's me saying, all right, the government, if they just print off more money, then it's worth more. But
well, that's different because cryptocurrency, the whole idea is the idea of, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm totally drawing a blank. It's just the decentralization and the verification of every single node going in and verifying the value of the asset. So with that's the whole thing, because like with printing money, like there's always gonna be the bank, but having like the whole the idea of cryptocurrency and everything, I'm like totally drawing a blank on the word that I'm looking for.
I kind of see what you're. It's because like the people are the bank in it.
Yes, it's the whole peer-to-peer thing. So it is what it is. We probably sound like absolute idiots talking about this compared to people who know what we're doing. It's like when we hear people talk about computer stuff and they have no idea what they're talking about. But
oh my god, it's painful.
It is painful. But no, generally, just back to what I was mentioning originally. Like, it's a moral thing where like we run it. I know Jackson's mindset is we run a business about computers and we complain about stuff being really expensive. So why would we use our own personal systems to mine cryptocurrency and contribute to the quote unquote problem? It is what it is. But I personally just wouldn't do it because my computer is an asset for my business, and any sort of risk into my computer is just not worth it for me as a business owner. So especially right now.
The other thing to me too is like, $16 a day is cool and all, and I get that it could go up in value in theory, but I am assuming unless crypto goes up to some insane amount again, which it totally could, that it's not going to be worth much more than the 16 per day that you were originally mining. So I don't know. To me, that's just like, it's almost like the money's not there for what I'm doing as well.
Yeah. Some of the problems with some coins is that some pools and some blocks are very random. You can't predict if you mine any of it. Some Ravencoin blocks, for example, you can get 0.02 and others won't give you any. So it is very random, and sometimes you don't get much out of it. And the thing with NiceHash, so NiceHash, you're not actually mining yourself. NiceHash, you're basically renting your power to miners, and then you get paid in Bitcoin for providing that power. So that's how the NiceHash thing works. So
God, I
Yes.
hate that.
Yeah,
I
so
would not.
yes.
Like I'm not some like paranoid person. Like I'm not like, oh, they're gonna hack my system, but like,
Oh no, there are vulnerability issues to it. Like people have
Oh, is
complained
there?
about. Well, like people have complained about it where there are like they even say like if you're gonna mine, they really wouldn't recommend using it on like a system that has any sort of personal information on it because there is a chance it could open up doors.
I mean,
to
is it
issues.
almost like just using like TeamViewer in a sense, or is
Not
it
really,
more...
no. It's more or less like you're literally just putting your computer hardware out there to like this program. They don't have direct access to your computer, but
Right.
it
I'm
can.
sure some people are
yeah.
smart enough to.
Oh
get
yeah,
in
there's some
with
people
that.
who would figure out a way. I know that's some of the main concerns a lot of people who are really avid in the crypto space have about like NiceHash and things like that. Is just it's an issue with like security sometimes. And there's some of those that are similar where you have to like disable all firewalls to actually get it to work. So and then that's where it gets very sketchy. But
It is quite sketch.
it's 16 a day if you mine for example Ethereum, but if you mine Ravencoin or Doge, you get the coin itself, and if that coin goes up in price, you could have 1,000 Dogecoin in 2 weeks, and if Doge reaches $1, you basically have $1,000 more in 2 weeks. That's all. Like, yeah, that'd be cool, and I get that's why some people be mining.
Yeah, and it's just like anything else in the world. I mean, it's theoretical.
You don't know if that actually will happen or not.
Yeah, it's personally, it's not something that I see. I don't see it going up a ton more from what it is, but I also don't. I don't know. I mean, it went up as much as it did. So
Yeah, who knows?
I watched a video the other day where it was a guy from like 2013 recording Bitcoin going up to $100, and he was so hyped, and he's like, man, this is like history. Like this is the highest it'll probably ever be.
Yeah. Craziness. Hi, Dads. What's up, A? How you doing, buddy?